Whoa, look at this glow. So nice. Okay, welcome aboard. Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm a flight attendant and a photographer. I travel all around the world and constantly meet new people. So today I'm going to share with you my secrets on how to bond with people quickly and cultivate a friendship that is worth keeping despite cultural differences, language barriers, and the distance. So one thing, I want to just say that I understand that the whole world is like under lockdown or at least practicing social distancing right now, so maybe it doesn't make sense to like talk about travel, but honestly I feel like it's still a good time, as I'm sure many of you wanna like prepare for a next trip once the COVID-19 is over. And honestly, the ability to be able to talk to anyone new about almost everything actually helps me immensely on my personal growth and also professionally. So I really hope that you can walk away with some of the tips that you get today from the video. Yeah, I know I talk like this, but it's my first video that I sit down and talk, so hope that you don't mind. So, how to make friends across the world. I have to admit that this is not an easy thing even for me at the very beginning. I'm someone between like an introvert and ambivert who need a lot of me time, a lot. But then I'm also curious about the world, so 8 years ago I kind of threw myself into this situation where I was going to a German high school and I was in the suburb of Berlin for 1 year. I was so self-conscious and also super shy that I kind of failed on making a lot of friends, and up to now I don't really keep in touch with any of them, which is fine. We all learn from mistakes. So my failure got me thinking how on earth I can make friends across the world with a complete different background. So after many trips and many trials and errors, I finally come up with a formula, and I'm going to share with you. Yay! So let's get started. So where to find friends? Not this friend, but like friend. So being a flight attendant, very often I only have like 2 to 3 days before going back to my home country. And for many of you, I'm pretty sure that when you travel, you also leave your footprints from places to places without staying in one certain point for too long. So when we meet friends, we only have like very short time to do that. So where do we find friends? Tip number 1. It's totally fine to talk to strangers, because we should all give humanity a chance to show that our fear, anxiety, and challenges that come to speaking with a stranger are actually worth every minute of the risk. Yeah, you heard me. So very often when I travel, I make friends with strangers and keep in touch with many. Yeah, mom, you heard me. So I made friends when I was in a bus in Germany, on an airplane to Thailand, in a museum in Taiwan, even on my way to an exhibition in Singapore. Yeah, it's really random. But yeah, you heard me, just a lot of unexpected occasions. So how do I do that? Sometimes it's me who would go to the stranger and ask them for directions, or sometimes I will ask them to take a photo of me. And if I feel like they actually solo traveler like me, or if I feel like they are a friendly local, I will ask them more questions like where you're from, or for local, I'll ask them, oh, do you know where I can explore the city like in a local way? And then we would start talking and exchange like information and thoughts. Yeah, so we become friends. So here it is, be open-minded and be friendly to everyone. But then I'm not asking you to say yes to every invitation in every occasion. Sometimes you have to know what kind of situation you're in, and you're totally entitled to say no. So one time I went out for dinner with a girl that I met in the hostel in Torino, Italy, and she invited another 2 guys to come over, which is her friend. So we had fun, we had a nice dinner, and after the dinner one of the guys insists to walk me back to the hostel, which I found is actually a nice gesture. But then he also knew that I actually had another bus to catch at 7 a.m. in the morning the next day. So what happened was that the next day at 6:30 a.m, guess what? When I stepped out of the door, I saw him. It's like, what? Stalker? Okay, nothing happened. He walked me to the station and I hopped on the bus and I said goodbye to him. But then he started texting me crazy. But one thing which is good about meeting strangers is that you can actually ignore them if you don't feel like you guys are on the same page. Tip number 2. Ask your friend. Ask your friend. So if you happen to know that your friends have been to the countries where you're heading to, you can actually ask them whether they know anyone from that country. And I'm pretty sure your friend will be happy to put you through into contact to those people if they know someone. Because chances are that like they have good experience hanging out with them, and also the new friends from the other side of the world are probably very open-minded people that they're willing to meet people from different backgrounds. So they are also gonna be very happy to meet you. So don't hesitate and ask your friend. You may never know what's gonna happen next. Tip number 3, use social media. So first step, go to App Store. Second, download Tinder. Third, fill in the profile. Fourth, prepare awesome, nice, eye-catching photo. Then you're done. No, I'm joking. So it's totally fine to use the dating app and you may actually meet someone, but then you may also risk that being with people who actually have a lot of assumption inside their head and have many like scenes inside their head and wonder what may happen in the night when you meet them. Yeah. Okay, enough jokes. What I'm trying to actually tell you is that I want you to make good use of Facebook groups and also Instagram DM. So how to do that? Facebook group. First, go to Facebook. Second, go to search engine. Type solo traveler, solo backpackers, female traveler, etc, etc, you name it. And you will see like a list of groups. Go inside. Sometimes they are regional, sometimes they're international, up to you. So when you're in those groups, you can make posts like, "Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm from Hong Kong. I'm going to this country at this period of time. Anyone happen to be there, wanna hang out?" So there you go. Now you just have to wait to see if anyone happens to be in the same country when you're there. Okay. Oops. So second, use Instagram. How do you do that? So for me as a photographer, sometimes I would actually want to hang out with people who share the similar interests with me. So when I'm in a new country, sometimes I would go to the location in Instagram and I would put down where I am or the places that I want to go to inside the city, and I would try to look for nice photos on those search results, and I would tap in, and if that person seems to be also like a photographer or a traveler, I may DM them and ask them, "Hey, I like your photo, I like your profile, it's cool, do you want to hang out?" Sometimes it will actually work. So what happened to me was that back in 2018, I did the 100 photos of 100 people working 100 street jobs on Instagram. So I want to like introduce this interesting photo project to especially foreigners who visit Hong Kong. So I go to different profiles and I make comments and tell them about my project. Some people reply, and one girl from Thailand happened to be in Hong Kong. We talked a little bit and then we decided to hang out together, and we had a really nice day. So yeah, you can try this method. Maybe it will work for you as well. So now you know where to find friends. Yay! But have you ever thought of what to do when you first meet your foreign friends? No? Do you know what to do to get the ticket to the conversation? No? Okay, so the following tips are what to do when you first meet your friends. But tip number 1, learn about their countries. Okay, I'm not asking you to know about everything of your new friend's country, but just one random fact could actually delight their day because you can relate to them. And sometimes it will be even funnier when he or she doesn't know about what you're talking about, but she will still be very happy because you show interest in their country. Okay, that random fact can actually come from something that you watch on Netflix, YouTube, or something you read on, Instagram and Facebook, and also news. If you have been to their countries, it's even better. You can share with them your experience in that country and also tell them what you like about the country. And that's for their opinion, because this is a two-way conversation, okay? You don't dominate the conversation. Tip number 2, ask questions strategically. Even I myself may not know a random facts about every country, so what should I do? Well, this is not the only way to make friends, okay? If that's the case, there are some other thing you can do, which is ask question. But how? You can do something like, "So, in Hong Kong we have skyscraper. What about in your country?" Or, "In Hong Kong we have dim sum. What about your country?" Okay, I know the examples are a bit lame, but you can do it, right? You can think about something even more interesting. What I want to bring out is that When you do this, not only your friend will benefit from what you're sharing, but you will also learn something interesting about your friend's country. So it's like a win-win situation. But please, please, do not ask stupid questions like, do you eat dogs in China? Because you don't want to be judgmental on someone's character simply because his or her country does something that you don't agree with. And you don't want to give criticism on something when you just met that person, like, who do you think you are, right? Always be friendly. I know you're smart, so don't do that, okay? Last tip of today, ask for help. Okay, some of you may feel reluctant when it comes to asking help from a new friend, but it's actually human nature. We all give and take, and your friend will be very happy to show the hospitality of their country, and you guys will bond even more because now you allow your new friend to invest time and energy on you. Okay, I'm not telling you to ask them to do you a big favor as a new friend, but you can always start with something like ask them about the opinions on where to visit in their country, or what is their favorite restaurant, and ask them to show you on Google Map or tag you on an Instagram post. Or you can also ask them to teach you some new words so that you can use in a daily conversation in their country. And I'm sure that your friend will be happy to help you and you guys can bond. At the same time, it is the friend who visits your country. You can show hospitality and be the ambassador of your country. Tell them what to do in your country, where to go, what to eat, and even offer them a mini walking tour so that you can create like awesome memories with a new friend, and you guys have things to talk about even when he or she go back home.
So, I only have like 60 gigabytes on this iPad and I have used most of the space. So every time after shooting like a few clips, I have to delete it and I have to upload it in the Google Drive and then delete them and then I shoot again. Super time consuming. So yeah, please support my video so that I can afford new equipment and stuff. Yay! Okay, see you next week. Bye!
Bye, Vanessa. Be the ambassador of your country.